There's one more topic I really want to hit with you that you had mentioned this morning, and that's because this is kind of a hot button issue right now. The kind of the tension between what they're calling cancel culture, free expression, accountability. I actually wrote an article about this a couple of weeks ago because I was really interested in the philosophy behind this. But for people that don't know what we're talking about, cancel culture is basically this idea that there are certain people expressing certain opinions, and then there's another group of people that want to basically kick them off of whatever platform they're on, or make them lose their job because of their thoughts and their opinions. And so I've got my thoughts on that. But before we get into that, what are your thoughts on kind of the balance between, this cancel culture idea, free expression, accountability, stuff like that?
I think America has a pretty robust culture of free expression. I think we're definitely much more so than Europe. I mean, the thing. So I'm a big English soccer fan. Like if you
Nice.
sent, it's like if you send a racist tweet. Let's say you're in England and you send a racist tweet to an English soccer player that you're mad at. Like
Yeah.
the police will come and arrest you if they can.
Really?
figure out who you
Really?
are. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like a 12-year-old 3 weeks ago got arrested for sending a racist tweet. Like
Wow.
I mean, they are
I had
not.
no idea. No idea.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
are not messing around when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, I mean, you would get piled on, obviously, and people would rightly tell you, like, hey, being a racist is not a great idea.
But you and I would both agree, I think. You and I would both agree that if I want to send a racist tweet to Judge Jesse McClure, the government shouldn't be telling me I
No,
couldn't
I mean,
do
you
it,
should
right?
not be. You should not be
Yeah.
arrested for saying mean things to people. And
Even if the things are really,
Yeah.
really bad, and even if there are things that a lot of us, or most of us, would strongly disagree with, it's that whole. I would consider myself generally a free speech absolutist, up to like the super extreme cases. But to me, the more I want the Nazis and the racists talking, I want them to get their ideas out there, because I will, and all of us will be able to show how stupid they are, right?
Yeah.
The more
Well, and I
ideas,
wanna
the
know-
better, right?
yeah, and I want to know who they are, quite frankly.
Exactly.
So I
That's a
know
good
to
point,
avoid you. Like, please put your Nazi bumper sticker on, so
Yeah.
I will make sure that I don't accidentally run into you. Like, that would be
Exactly.
helpful. And I think, and I agree that, I think we need to have robust free expression and protection. So there's two issues, right? So obviously, there's probably a greater consensus on, hey, the government shouldn't go arrest 12-year-olds for sending racist tweets. I think most people would agree on it. But obviously where it gets murky is, okay, well, let's say you say a racist thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
And okay, we've decided we're not going to arrest you, but what do we do? And, what's hard is, obviously there's so many anecdotes on both sides, and there's so many, it's one of those arguments that's perfectly made for our social media age, because
Yeah.
for every example of, hey, this white guy said this racist thing and nothing happened to him, there's an example of, hey, this, Hispanic guy did this thing and he got fired, or this
Yeah.
Asian guy did this thing and he got suspended, or there's this, white woman who's a quarter Pakistani and she did this thing, and and so there's all these little anecdotes. But I guess I definitely believe you ought to be accountable for what you say. I mean, if you
Yeah.
say something and you shouldn't have said it, I think, free expression is a two-way street. So,
Yeah.
if you say something, somebody, if you say, well, I want to be able to express myself freely, okay, there are obviously consequences to expressing yourself. And I
Yeah.
certainly don't want to curtail people's counter expression of your free expression. I think where it gets dangerous is where we have these very murky, where we have norms that haven't quite solidified that people get accused of violating. So, where we have speech that maybe 5 years ago nobody would have batted an eye at, but now it's, well, that's super racist, or that's super this, or you can't say that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a norm. There sort of needs to be kind of a societal due process for these things. Like,
Yeah.
hey, everyone knows you shouldn't say this, so don't say this. We shouldn't sort of, form these posses on the internet to
Yeah.
go after people's jobs when what they said had nothing to do with their job. Like if a guy who changes tires at Discount Tires says a borderline racist thing, like, do we want him fired? Really? Like, he's the guy that changes your tires at Discount Tire.
Yeah.
He's not involved in he doesn't have any discretion to do anything to your life. So, I mean, this is going to sound kind of weird, but like, racists need jobs too. Like, do we want every racist unemployed?
Yeah.
Is that going to make them less? If a racist says something racist and he gets fired from Discount Tire, is that going to make him less racist because he got fired from Discount Tire?
Probably or is he going to say, racist? Yeah.
Or is he going to say, you know what, those no good people sure did get me. Yeah, now I know to hate them. I mean, so we just need to be careful